And that is where you are going to lead her to the more dangerous path. The more writing practice she does, the more and the more mistakes she will make. That's not the solution. No. So how? Very good, I like that. So how? Terus gimana dong? By the way, in Singapore, that is a very popular expression. So how? The answer is in my first discussion input. This girl needs very basic exposure to language input. It takes a while. It's going to take time. And the progress can be very slow. But that, I think, is the only way to go. Next one, grammar. Ceremony grammar. Is grammar important? Yeah? Grammar has always been important. Remember, your job is to teach what? Language. And language comprises of only two things, if you ask me. If you ask him, the answer can be long and complicated. But if you ask me, there are only two, cuma ada dua. What is this? Grammar and? You got it right, yes. Bahasa itu adalah grammar dan vocabulary. The rest, ya boleh, nggak apa-apa kalau mau gitu. But these two will have to be in place first. But I'm not talking about any kind of grammar. I'm talking about a certain kind of grammar. Let me tell you what this grammar is. But first, very often we tend to teach too little on one extreme or too much grammar. Those of you who are full believer of communicative language teaching probably will think, okay, as long as my students can communicate their ideas, fine. Grammar, forget it. Please don't. You are a language teacher. You are a language teacher. I am a language teacher too. I care about grammar. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, very often, the kind of grammar that we teach in the classroom is explicit grammar, not implicit grammar. Which one, my question to you is this, which one is more useful for your students? If I ask you which one is more important, you will tell me explicit teaching of grammar is more important. But from your students' point of view, dari segi proses pembelajaran si anak didik kita itu, which one is more important, implicit or explicit teaching, grammar? Raise your hand if you say it's explicit. Gak ada. Raise your hand if it's implicit. Okay. Raise your hand if you are neither. Yes. The best answer is, I think we need a little bit of both. Itu orang yang nggak punya komitmen. You have to be able to say at what stage and which students you are dealing with, and then you can say with a high degree of certainty. Remember earlier I said I am concerned with students of lower proficiency, yeah? Students of lower proficiency. And for this group of students, you need to help them develop a lot more implicit, bukan explicit. Explicit itu pengetahuan mengenai tata bahasa. Not very useful. But if you are studying it to become teachers, yes, you need a lot of knowledge about grammar. Your students, many of them do not need to know what a present tense is. What is important is whether or not they can use the present tense for communication. Beda nih ya, lain sekali. So right now the issue is this, it's not whether we should or should not teach grammar. The answer is very clear, yes, we should teach grammar. But in what way? Gitu. In what way, which grammar, and to what extent? Is that my, no. And to what extent? Seberapa banyak, kepada siapa, dan apa itu, grammar yang mana, begitu loh. Yeah. Don't teach this grammar to your students. Yeah. Another point is this. Think about, when you are about to teach grammatical points to your students, think about this. Is this grammar useful? For the past 5 years, have I used this grammatical structure in my writing or in my speech? If the answer is no, then bye-bye, forget it. Don't teach it, don't even touch it. Either. The other one is native speaker grammar. Forget about native speaker grammar. Forget it. If you make a few mistakes here and there, that's fine. Yeah? Because nowadays, what is important is not whether or not you speak like native speakers of English. In fact, it's very bad if you do speak like native speakers of English. You should speak like somebody from Solo, Buena, ya kan? Slow gitu ya. Slow, but you're not sure whether it is sure. Okay, let's get more serious. Supaya nggak terlalu banyak, just two things that you need to remember. Two things, yeah. It doesn't matter whether you use the current curriculum or the past curriculum or the future curriculum. In your heart, as a professional teacher, you should be able to judge using these two criteria. Number one, does the grammar help my students' language in writing or in speech become more comprehensible? Yeah? Because that's important. You need grammar so that you can get your ideas across and that people do not get confused by the language that you use. Understanding, comprehensibility. Number two is acceptability. Acceptability itu apa ya? Memper nggak gitu loh. Acceptability. A good example is those of you who are studying to become teachers. If you speak that language and your English is very fluent and very comprehensible, is that enough? No, it is not. Yeah, your English should be a little bit more polished. A little bit more polished. But if you are an engineering student, I think you will be forgiven if your language is not as polished as somebody who is training to become teachers. I hope that is making sense, yeah? But native speaker grammar, forget it. Number one, it's not attainable. Nggak bisa kok. Nggak bisa. It's not attainable. Number two, it's not desirable as well. If you speak like native speakers, people will tell you, I'm sorry, where are you from? All the time. Pada suatu masa zaman dahulu, people believe that, hey, if you know a lot of words, you'll be able to learn to speak the language. We now know it's not completely true. But what happens is that people have gone to the other extreme. They're saying that, hey, words are not important. Forget about words. Ini hasil penelitian yang sudah saya rangkum dari berbagai macam sumber. This is what researchers say. Hey, when we listen and when we read and listen for a purpose. Ada tujuannya kok. And because of that, we do not listen, we do not read every word. Betul betul? Betul? Yeah. And then, because of that, we make predictions based on context. And we make guesses when things are not clear. Is that true? That's not true. These observations, these research findings are true for you, but not for your students. These observations are true for people who are already proficient in their language. If you are not proficient in the language, what you are doing is not guessing, but ngawuring. That's a local word for guessing. But guessing in the wildest sense of the meaning. Data to show the relationship between vocabulary and language skills. In other words, it is telling us that vocabulary plays a very important role in all the skill areas. Yeah? Okay, how many words do we need? In English, there are about 1 million words. 10% of the words are in common use for other people. Proficient speakers of English know about 20,000 words. How many words do you know? And how many students do you, how many words do your students need to know? That's a tricky thing, isn't it? A good answer will be banyak pak. A lot of words gitu. I know this is a little bit dangerous, but if you ask me, I will, for Indonesia, for high school students, I will say around 1,500 to 2,000 words. That should be at least this number. If they know more, that's good. If they know less than this, no good. No good at all. And they have to know these words very well. Very well itu artinya satu kata itu tahu berbagai macam artinya dan bisa dipakai di mana-mana begitu loh. Let's look at the word on. Very simple. Our students probably know this. On the table they know. The light is still on, they know. But the word on is used in many other situations and the meaning is slightly different. Ya kan? Ada yang, oh I'm on it. Lagi dikerjain itu I'm on it. Dinner is on me. Not tonight, dinner is on you if you want me. Ada yang traktir gitu loh, on me gitu. Yeah. Have you taught your students these very simple words? Probably not. You should. On and off, not regularly, is the series still on, and so on. Next one, related to vocabulary is set phrases. Set phrases itu dikenal dengan fixed phrases, bahasa kerennya lexical chunks, formulaic speech, or grammaticalized language. If you don't understand what this is, I can show you some examples. These are examples of fixed language. Fixed itu nggak berubah-ubah gitu loh. They tend to be used together as a chunk, as a group. Gitu. For example, hey, what's up? Just a moment. Can you tell me about it? I'm sorry, I can't go. Nggak dipikir loh itu loh. Just the whole chunk, just you use it just like that. Ini. We now know that speakers, proficient speakers, have thousands and thousands of these ready-made, ini adalah ready-made language patterns that you have stored over the years that you can use almost automatically just like that. Gak dipikir lagi tuh. Yeah, all of a sudden up and down, don't leave me alone, please don't leave me alone. If you're tired, stay here. If you're not tired, stay here too. Fixed phrases, ya. Ini yang dinamakan sebagai implicit grammar sebetulnya, gitu. Grammar yang sudah jadi, gitu loh. I think I'm going to skip this a bit and move on to fluency. Yeah. So the message is that our students need a lot of fixed expressions, so that when they try to use English, they can use it rather quickly without having to think about sit, ini present tense atau past tense ya. Sit, ini you can't. It has to be just like that. Fluency, very briefly. Fluency in productive skills, I think we know this. In speaking in particular, productive means in speaking. We do a lot of this in the classroom. We encourage students to produce so that they develop fluency in speaking. Is that okay? That is fine. However, you also need to develop fluency in the receptive skills. Receptive skills apa ya? Listening and reading. Agak ya, kedengarannya ya. Reading fluency. Listening fluency. I listen very fluently. Do you listen fluently? Next one is motivation. I'm going to move on a little bit quickly. Motivation is important. You won't believe this, but I've been saying this to a lot of people. English language learning is easy, but it takes time. And because of that, you need to be patient. You need to have sufficient motivation to do it. It doesn't take a genius. You don't have to be a genius to learn English. I don't think so. I don't believe that. You don't need a special talent to learn English. I don't believe that. What you need is a little bit of motivation. Yeah? Because success very often depends on sustained enthusiasm and commitment. The good news is this. I don't know if this is the good news or the bad news. Motivation in the classroom is your responsibility. It's my responsibility. Is it your students' responsibility as well? Yes, but not as much as your responsibility. I think it's your job as a teacher to also be a motivator. This is what I like about this quote. The best motivational intervention is simply to improve the quality of our teaching. In other words, there's a good correlation between good teaching and your students being motivated. Isn't that good news or bad news? It's good news. In other words, if you do a good job teaching your students, chances are very high that your students will fall in love with English. They will spend extra time doing things, learning English on their own. This is my famous 5 T's about motivation. In the middle is the teacher, you. And then the teaching method that you do, if you refine, if you fine-tune your teaching method, chances are your students will be a little bit more motivated. The text that you use in the classroom, it has to be interesting, exciting, and things like that. Otherwise, the students will not be interested. Yeah? Don't ask them to read things like, once upon a time, the sun rose in the east. It's not interesting. Don't use that kind of text. Ya, Bu, ya, pernah pakai ini bahasa ini. I'm sorry. According to my time, I still have 5 minutes. The text and then the task should also be relevant, interesting, exciting, not for you, but for your students. Finally, the test. This is the evil in our education system, but you can tweak it in such a way so that students see tests as something that is enjoyable. Tests is something that supports their learning instead of something that punishes your students in the classroom. Next one. I'm almost at the end. Hampir habis nih. 1 more minute. Yeah? The last one is amount and intensity of instruction. I have done my mathematical calculation, and I have found that over a 6-year period in high school, siswa kita itu mendapat pelajaran bahasa Inggris. They get to learn English for 1,200 hours. Banyak sekali. Spread over 6 years. However, despite this amount of time, the success rate of our students is not very high. So what is wrong with that? Salah siapa ini? Salah siapa? If you ask me, the amount is more than enough. 1.200 jam itu nggak main-main, banyak banget itu. That's a lot of hours. What is missing is the component, the element of intensity. Intensitasnya tidak ada. And because of that, the impact of teaching in the classroom becomes very much diluted. Diluted itu weaker. It becomes very weak. Nggak kelihatan tampaknya begitu. So now you can tell the Ministry of Education, now you can tell your school, Pak, not my fault, it's the curriculum. It's the curriculum because it's spread over 6 years, gitu loh. Nggak percaya ini, coba lihat nih ya. Yuk, mari kita beranalogi. You want to learn how to drive, alright? How to drive a car. And usually it takes 90 hours, you know, give or take, 90 hours. And usually it takes you 3 months. Some people took 3 years, like Henny here, spent 3 years, he never learned how to drive. But most normal people, I would be able to do it in 3 months. Yeah? Is that Something that we can agree on? Okay, good. Success rate Johannya is very high, 99% bisa nyupir deh pokoknya. Ya, betul ya? Nah, let's look at this. Let's say that I am not going to give you 3 months, but I'm going to give you 3 years, but setiap hari itu hanya 5 menit berlatih nyupir mobil. Gitu. Kira-kira after 3 years, will you be able to drive your car? Or the car will be able to drive you? I'm happy that you can laugh together with me because this is exactly what is happening. The amount is cukup, more than cukup, but the intensity is not there and the impact is gone. Nothing much. Yeah? Okay. Finish. I know you want more.